So I want to talk about something which is very close to my heart, which lies at the core value that we have as human beings, at humanity, which is hope. So hope is the guiding light as far as I'm concerned, because you've got to hope for the best, number one. Number two, in darkest hour, hope is the one that guides you through turbulent times. It tries to sort of pacify your emotions. It tries to calm you down because you want that winning environment and you are looking for that winning environment. And hope gives you that winning environment, at least in your mind. There are moments when you're hopeless, or when you're stuck down with hopelessness. And I tell you a little story that I had to go through. So I retired very young as a cricketer, now that I look back at it. So I retired when I was 32 or 33 years old. And there was this kind of identity crisis because when others are taking off in life, here was somebody who was gone, dead, buried. And I didn't know how to cope with it because there was this identity crisis. There was this starting a new career at an age where I didn't know what career I may have or could have, because all my life from about 10, 12, I wanted to be a cricketer. So certainly when you are looking to peak in your lifetime, you are sort of doomed as a retired athlete or a retired individual. But then I had hope, and I had expectations. And hope was that, number one, I had education to fall back on. I studied here at TEDxAitchison College, so that gave me a lot of confidence that I could start a new life because as a sportsman, you go through highs and lows, you go through tough times, and you develop that resilience when you play sport. So I said, I'm not going to take it down or lightly, and I'm going to make sure that whatever is in my ability, in my capacity, I'm going to once again start to dream, start to hope. And so then I said, look, I can speak a bit of English and I can be a commentator. So my first gig as a commentator, which, by the way, my wife never liked me to be a commentator because in those days, all the commentators were over 50s and over 60s. Here I was at 34 trying to become a commentator. But because I was out of job and because I didn't want to stay at home, because I wanted to continue with exploring life, so I decided to then give it a try. And I've been doing that since. And frankly, I'm pretty bored because I've been doing that now for about 30, 40 years. But hope you must have, and desires. And then the next step is to dream, because dream is not an abstract art anymore. It is fundamental of who you want to be. And for that drive to have in you, you've got to dream. So hope is the first step, and then next one is the dream part. And they say that if you dream big, but to achieve that dream, you've got to have leadership qualities also, because that leadership quality will drive you, will fuel your passion to think big, to dream big. And then again, the 92 World Cup, for example, we didn't have a team actually. There were so many injuries. But because we as a group, not only as a leader, but as a group, we dreamt of winning the World Cup. We dreamt of creating a history that we were able to. And then I was fortunate enough to meet Nelson Mandela also when we toured South Africa in 92, 93. And he was... he'd been behind bars for 20 plus years. And the first thing that I realized when I shook hand with him was that how firm his handshake was, and that he was not a broken man. And he had for a 70 plus, he was extremely fit. And it wasn't a cursory kind of a handshake. So he stopped. He inquired about, whether I was a batsman or a bowler, whether I was liking South Africa or not, and all that kind of stuff. But he dreamt of making South Africa free again from behind the bars. And so he was such a great motivation at that stage. And Malala Yousafzai, I mean, she not only dreamt big, but she led herself and the entire community into action. So, I mean, these are the stages where you work your way through to become a successful individual. And so leadership is not only about clarity of goals, it's not about winning at any cost. It's about taking people along. It's about making sure that you show empathy, you respect their goals, you try to understand their goals. Whenever I was out of the playing 11, for example, in cricket, again, an example, that my captain would come to me and explain the reason why I was left out of the playing 11. It wasn't as if, he said that, you're not good enough, or that you didn't have the form to continue playing in the playing 11, but everything was explained. And then once I sorted out that little mistake or technical issue that I had, I was asked to come and play again in the playing 11. So I think leadership is also about communicating well. It's about speaking honestly to the person that you're addressing your points to. It's also about being a little fearless and taking a dip, taking a risk. And then backing yourself in tense situation. I think that is one thing that I learned from sport, that you've got to back yourself to the hilt all the time. Because you see, as mere mortals, when we were playing against somebody like Viv Richards, for example, and Viv Richards was like about 10 tiers ahead of all his co-players or the guys who were playing in that circuit. But every time we went out there to play against him, we wanted to get him out, hit him, and back ourselves that we were better players than him. Because that's the only way to sort of react to such a challenge. And you need to challenge yourself as well. I think that is the other important thing, because without challenge, there's no life. And most of you must also try to play a bit of sport. It doesn't mean that you have to be professionally great at it, but it allows you to understand life in a very natural way. The highs and lows, the ups and downs. You make friends for life, and it being a healthy activity. But also, I think it's how you become part of a team. So whilst you have the selfish motive to be the best amongst the team, but also you've got to realize that, your one action may just hurt the overall goal of your team. So I want Pakistani youth to dream big once again, to have high hopes of our country, to have clarity in what they want to do, to take on that leadership role. And I say that all the time when I'm doing commentary in T20 cricket. Because of the paucity of time, gone are the days where a captain would go and tell a certain fast bowler or a batsman how to play and how to bowl and how to bat, because I think there's no scope for that. You've got to lead yourself in T20 cricket. So all the 11 players have got to be leaders, because the time forces you to be that. And also, I think it's time that we start to think on our feet totally, rather than being shoved into a certain space. I think it's important that we all become leaders. So there's clarity of what we want to do. There's clarity that, we want this country to be the best in the world. And for that to happen, I think you've got to get out of the whatever the political turbulence and not being so selfish that you put your own goals before the goals of the country or the community. So it's important that you feel good about this place, this country, and that you become leaders, honest leaders, dedicated leaders, one for all and all for one kind of individuals. And that, they say that, you've got to create your own sort of future also. I mean, don't look at what the future predicts for you. You create that prediction for yourself. And for that to happen, you've got to be not only a goal setter, but a goal achiever. Thank you.